Hey guys, welcome to my channel today. Thank you so much for stopping by. In this video, we'll be cutting and sewing this really cute maxi dress that you can see on your screen. So you can use 2.5 yards of fabric or 3 yards of fabric depending on your size and how free you want your dress to be, okay? So the first thing I did was to fold my fabric into two to cut out the front. So the amount of fabric I have on fold here is my hip circumference divided by 4, which is 9 inches, and I went ahead to add extra 7.5 inches to what I have. The half an inch is going to be for my joining allowance. So you've already seen the outcome of my dress. If you feel like it's not big enough, you can add to what I have here, and if you feel like it's too big, you can reduce from what I have here. So this is a sleeveless dress that has a strap. So before I start taking my points, I'm going to take out 6 inches. So it depends on how deep you want the neckline area to be. The one on the thumbnail is quite deep. For me, I took out 6 inches and I went down by 9 inches. The 9 inches is where I want the armhole for the front to be. So take note that where the armhole for the front is where the back shoulder is going to start from. That means the armhole point for the front is going to determine the neck depth of the back, okay? So I took out the 6 inches. I went down by 9 inches earlier, but I decided to make it 10 inches. So take out whatever you want to take and go down by your armhole depth. Then I'm going to connect it in a square like this, okay? So on that 10 inches, I came inward by 2 inches and I just connected it like this. So I'm going to cut this part out for the armhole. So still taking out the 6 inches, I'm going to go down by my dress length, which is going to be 50 inches. This is the amount of fabric I have. You can make yours longer. So what I'll do now is to cut the armhole for the front, and I'm going to bring the back fabric. It is the same thing as the front because this dress does not have a zipper. So what I'll do now is to fold in the back neckline. So like I mentioned earlier, the armhole depth is going to determine the depth of the back. So I'm going to fold in what I already cut out from the armhole area. So they are going to align on the armhole area. I'm going to cut this part out. So this is how deep the back neckline is going to be. So see, look at the thumbnail, the back is really deep. So you can go down more than 10 inches. So now this is the back. What I'll do now is to create a casing here that my elastic band will be passing through on the back. Because it's too wide, we need the elastic band to pull the whole fabric together so it fits on the back. For the front, I'm going to hem the armhole area, and I'll also create a casing, okay, on the upper part here for the rope to pass through. So after doing that, I'm going to arrange my fabric back in place, and I'm going to notch where I want to sew the pocket to, because the dress has a pocket. So I'll arrange it back as it was before, and I'm going to still take out the 6 inches, and I'll go down. My waist point is 16 inches, so I'll add 3 inches to the 16 inches, making it 19 inches. So this point right here is where I'm going to be fixing the pocket. So I'm going to notch the 4 piece of fabric together, okay? So when I'm sewing my pockets, I know this is where to place the pockets, okay? So next thing we'll do is to cut out the pockets. This fabric is folded into 4. I'm going to spread my arm on the fabric, and I'm going to cut out this shape like this. So after cutting, this is what I have 4 pieces. So I'm going to be using 2 for the left hand side and 2 for the right hand side. I've gone ahead to create the channel for my elastic band on the back, and also the channel for my rope to pass through on the front. Now I'm going to pin my pockets to the main bodies. So I'll place the pocket on the notch, and I'm going to pin it down. So the pocket should be facing the fabric on the right side, okay? The right side of the fabric, the right side of the pocket. After pinning, I'll go ahead and sew on a straight line. This is the front. I've piped the armhole. I've also created the channel for the front. So what I'll do is to also place my pocket right side facing right side on the fabric, and I'll go ahead and sew using half an inch, okay? So after sewing the pocket in place, this is what I have for the back. Next thing I'll do now is to pass my elastic band through the channel on the back, okay? So the elastic band is my bust circumference divided by 4, and I also reduced it by 3 inches. So my bust circumference divided by 4 minus 3 inches, that is the length of the elastic band that I have here. So I'll pass the elastic band through the casing using my bobbin pin. Okay, so once I pass it through this side, I'm going to use my pin to hold it down, and I'll stitch it down. Okay, so stitch it down so it does not move. Then you're going to pass it to the other side of the fabric, and you're going to also use your pin to hold it down, then you stitch it in place. So after doing that, this is what we have for the back. This is what it looks like. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to bring in the front, and I'm going to place them right side, facing right side. After doing that, I'll start pinning from the armhole area. So the neckline of the front is longer than that of the back, so the armhole, you're going to match the armhole together. You're going to pin, also pin the pockets in place, make sure everything aligns. Okay, after doing that, you're going to now sew from the armhole area all around the pockets area, from there to the base of the dress. So use your pins to hold everything down so it's easy for you to stitch. So to cut out the rope for the strap, I'm going to be cutting out about 6 pieces of fabric. Okay, the wideness is 1.5 inches, and we'll be cutting out 2 sets. The first 3 pieces, the length is 60 inches. The length should be 60 inches while the wideness should be 1.5 inches. So you're going to sew them like this. You first of all fold in, you fold the other side in form of a bias, and then you fold them together and you sew all the way to the end. Okay, fold twice, fold together, and then sew. So you sew for this, you sew for the other one. Okay, so after sewing in place, this is what I have. So I stitched the ends together. Okay, so you're going to braid it out. Okay, so just braid it out all the way. You can make it a loose braid or a tight one, any one you prefer. Just to braid it all the way to the end. Okay, so one of the braids should be longer than the other one. This long one is the one we are going to be passing through the neckline area. It should be up to 60 inches, depends on how comfortable you want to be. Okay, so this is the shorter one and this is the longer one. Mine did not get up to 60 inches because I'm managing 2 yards of fabric. Is not that long. That is why the depth of the back is not as deep as the one on the thumbnail. So make yours longer so it's more comfortable. So I've stitched both front and back piece together. This is what I have. Okay, so the pocket is also stitched in place. Next thing I'll do now is to pass the braided fabric inside the channel that we have on the front. So you'll be passing the longer one through this channel. Okay, so this one is longer, should be longer than the other one. Okay, so I'm going to pass it using my bobbin pin from this end to the other end. After passing it through, what you do now is to arrange everything in place so they are equal on both ends. So after passing it through, this is what it looks like. So arrange everything in place. Okay, make sure the ends are equal. After doing that, I'm going to turn the dress to the back. Okay, so we are going to stitch the rope at the back of the dress. Okay, so to do that, you are going to figure out where you want to stitch it. Okay, so for me, I went out from the armhole area by about 1.5 inches. So I'm going to arrange the loop now and I'll place it. So when you are stitching it down, don't stitch on the elastic band, just stitch on the stitch that you had earlier while folding the fabric up for the casing. Okay, so just stitch it down by half an inch. Okay, stitch on both sides. After doing that, this is what I have. Okay, so if you check the thumbnail, there is like a design at the back of the dress. If you want to achieve that, you'll be using the other braids that we had earlier. That's the shorter one. You're going to use that one to wrap around the back. So that is how to achieve the design at the back. That is if you want to do that. Okay, so what I'll do now is to turn my dress back to the right side to show you guys how to achieve the design at the back. I'll turn my dress to the other side and I'm going to place the center back together. Okay, so you take from this end, you take from the other end, you put them together like this, and you're going to wrap the other braids around the back like this. So if your rope is really long, it's going to be comfortable. Okay, So now you are going to wrap it around depending on how many times you want to wrap it. Okay, you can do it twice, you can do it 3 times. So before you start wrapping, make sure that the first wrap, the end of the first wrap, is hidden inside the other wraps. Okay, so let me illustrate so you guys understand what I'm trying to say. Before I start wrapping, I'm going to pass the end of the first wrap now inside the other wrap. Okay, so I'm wrapping on top of it, so when I'm done wrapping these braids, there's not going to be any excess fabric outside. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to use the braid now to cover the one that I pushed inside, as you can see me doing. So wrap as many times as you want to wrap. So after wrapping now, you're going to use your needle and thread to tack everything in place. Okay, so you hide the ends of this last one underneath the braids. Okay, so use your needle and thread to just hold everything in place, and that is how to achieve the design at the back. So the last thing you do is to end the base of your dress, and that is all for this tutorial. I hope it was helpful. Don't forget to like this video, leave your questions in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.